The following podcast has been brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up now using the URL audibletrial.com/TTV to get a free audiobook of your choosing. We recommend Brick by Brick, How LEGO Rewrote the Rules of Innovation and Conquered the Global Toy Industry. You may recognize this as one of the sources we use in our show, Bionicle Autopsy. Remember, that's audibletrial.com/TTV. Enjoy the show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sync. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to TTV Talks. I'm Barteran.
I'm Eljay.
And I'm Kahi.
Now, you see, guys, that's how you do an introduction. Flawless.
Thank you.
I
pretty
am
good.
amazing.
That was,
If only you guys
pretty
are as
good.
professional as me, am I right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sure.
If only. I wish I had a tie.
What?
What?
Professionals wear ties. Do you wear a tie,
yeah,
Var?
okay. Why do we put up with this? Bar, why do we do this?
I don't know. I really don't know why we put up with Eljay. Remember that one time we had this big fight on Skype?
Right.
It obviously wasn't public. People
Right.
didn't know about it, but
Right.
we had this big fight in Skype. It was right after recording a TTV podcast
Right.
episode. Eljay flips out at us, and we all start arguing and stuff, and we're like, okay, we gotta do this big talk with Eljay.
It was
He's
after
causing...
the worst episode in history, too. Yeah. Come on, keep going.
Well, we didn't even name the episode, but
So that's the name of the episode.
but okay, so we're like, okay, so Eljay, we really need to talk to you.
Right.
And then Eljay's like, see ya, suckers, I'm leaving for a week.
Okay, first of all, I love how you're saying this, and none of the fans are going to be able to figure out whether you're just throwing out fluff or if this actually happened.
Notation. It actually happened.
It actually happened.
Annotation.
There was
Don't
a
listen.
huge deal. We were going to fire LJ and everything.
Oh, yeah, you were going to
See,
fire
now
me.
we don't know what's the truth and what isn't.
Now we don't know what's... It's fine. Poor Viper.
But
Hi, Viper.
yeah,
Shout
so,
out. No.
we were having this big fight, and Eljay decides to freaking ditch us for a
He
week.
just goes.
Okay, first
just
of
vanishes.
Yeah.
First of
What
all,
was that, dude?
Okay.
What was that?
First of all, you guys never approached me prior to my leaving about, okay, Eljay, we need to sit down and
You didn't
talk.
give us a chance. You left right away.
Literally,
Exactly.
that night you're like, guys, I might be gone for a bit. And we're like, okay, when he gets back, we have to talk to
Yeah,
him.
that's because
And then you
things
came
are
back,
so
you're like, all
sudden.
right, I'm going to
It
be gone for a
randomly
couple days.
happened.
And you're just gone. And not only that, once you came back, you wouldn't tell us where you went. You acted like it was a
Exactly.
super big secret.
Exactly, because I was waiting. Because I went on a trip, I recorded some skits there, and I wanted to wait until after they came out, and then for you guys to see them, put the pieces together, have everything click, and go, okay, now we're actually firing you.
But we figured out where you were, like the
Yeah, we
day-
knew where you
where
went.
you
Like, that,
went.
where else would you go?
Yeah,
That-
it's
I
not
mean,
like
that's
you have
notation.
a
You
lot
knew
of
He
where
went
friends.
to visit
I went.
Alina.
You didn't know what part of where I went. Does that make sense?
No,
What does that mean?
you don't know where I went of where I went. What?
Exactly. Hey, where I went is a big place.
You went to Alina's house.
You went to Alina's mom's house.
Well, technically.
That is
That's not
indeed
wrong.
That is what happened.
Okay, yeah, so I went on a trip. See, it was right after that. I had a guest over, one of my good friends back from California. I had him over the holidays. And
Don't say one of your good friends like you have so many friends. You're like, oh, just one of them stopped by.
I said one of my good friends from
one
California.
of the 3 people you know. One of the 3 people that you still physically hang out with.
Yeah, well, actually 4, technically. Anyway, we're getting off track.
Okay,
so
fair.
I have one of my friends over. He's there for New Year's and a little bit into the new year. And then the night right before he's about to leave.
I don't know why you're saying your friend. He was on a TTV episode. So just say his name.
Oh, yeah, fudge. I forgot. Okay, so Drakavad's over.
Right.
It's for those who don't know. Yeah, we do the game night. We have a bunch of fun. It's over New Year's. He stays a little bit into 2015. And then the night before he leaves, plans suddenly...
That's why we didn't approach you right away. Because Dracoval was over.
Yeah,
You're
see?
like, okay, we're going to talk to him.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
going to talk to him after Dracoval leaves, because otherwise it'll be really, really awkward. But
Right.
thing is, he never left because you left with him.
Exactly. That's exactly how it went, actually. Because the night before he leaves, plans were spontaneously made for me to travel over, to Alina's house. Just for a
Why?
trip to visit.
Why? How did this happen?
She said she had some time off. She didn't know what to do. The idea came up, maybe she should come up here. And she's like, nah, I'm not going to go up there. And like, oh, well, why don't you come over here? And it's like, oh, okay. That's the long and short of it.
How much did that plane ticket cost?
I am not saying. Because I don't
You just decided to drop. All right, well, let's say, we went to New York, Var. How much did it cost you to go to New York?
It costed me like $300 to get my plane ticket round trip there and back.
Fun fact, we actually had to go over these costs because we're filling out taxes. But yeah, okay, $300,
taxes,
right?
Adult things.
Yeah, and then I checked on how much it would cost to go to Texas for RTX, and that was going to be like $800 round trip, which makes no sense to me because I'm closer to Texas than I am to New York. But either way, let's say in one of the random locations that Eljay may be at this current moment, he travels to California.
Right.
I'm estimating it costs between $300 to $800.
$230.
Oh, wow.
$230. How much did it actually cost you?
That's a lot cheaper than I was expecting it to be.
It was around, because you see, we split. It was a split cost. So overall, it was
she
around...
paid for you to go... Oh, my God.
Well, no. Well,
literally get a room.
Oh, my gosh.
See what I did there?
Anyway.
Okay. All right.
Maybe... Okay, either way, it was around... Oh, gosh, how much was it? Fudge. I don't even remember. I should say, I don't remember the exact...
He does not manage our finances, in case anybody's wondering.
I don't remember the exact amount. But anyway, yeah, I just...
Okay, so wait a minute. So Alina split the cost with you?
To an extent, yes.
Wow.
Dude, I don't think my girlfriend would split the cost.
Oh my gosh, Govaki.
If I decided to.
Here's the thing. I went down there to scope some places out, because I was going to be in a
for the
close
wedding
area.
My girlfriend doesn't love me enough to split the cost.
Gosh. So I was down there, and you see, here's the thing. The reason I was... I went down, I flew down. The great big thing about this is that the first time I was on a plane. The first time I had commercially flown anywhere. At all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what this... That's why this was a big deal.
It's such a big deal. So wait a minute. Tell us about your boarding experience.
Well, hold on. So randomly, the night after the podcast, you're like, I'm gonna drop $200 to go see my friend down in California, and it's gonna be the very first time I've ever ridden a plane.
Yeah.
Just on the spring of one night.
Okay, the spring of a day. It went over the course of a day. After the podcast.
I mean, even still, that's a lot of money and a lot of... I don't know, because, my first plane trip was kind of a big deal for me, too. That's something I had to think about a little bit, because I'd never been in a plane before. You hear all the horror stories about plane travel and everything.
Do you really?
Yeah, there's tons of horror stories.
Oh, definitely. Put it this way. There's a reason I haven't flown on a plane until, January.
Yeah, but you're insane, Eljay.
For people who haven't flown planes, flying a plane seems kind of scary at first.
Definitely.
Because it's a very different way to travel. I've never really thought about actually riding a plane to travel before. I've always been really grounded, just drive. Why get on a plane? I've never even ridden a train before. Riding the subway in New York was kind of interesting.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
But anyway, I don't know. That seems a little odd, Eljay, that you just decided to spring $200 and then a plane trip, never riding one before in a day. But all right,
yeah,
fair enough. How was your trip like?
Tell us about the boarding experience.
Yeah, I could get.
I want the audience to realize how crazy you really are.
Okay, first of all, I could get into all the hoopla about the process of thinking it over. Bottom of the line is an experience, and it is an experience I wanted to have because I was going to be doing it later on in the year anyway. More on that soon. Anyway, the boarding experience was interesting because I get to the airport, and the great thing is Drakova was going back to California anyway. He lived in a different part of California. But the wonderful thing is, we both went through security. We both went through this process. It was my first time. It is so much easier having a friend go with you through security than going alone.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Is
that
it?
was
I
a load
I did the
of
whole thing
fun.
by myself.
See-
I wouldn't. I mean, no, I wouldn't say that. It's just kind of like I just assume what benefits did having a friend get you?
To show you what you have to do. 'Cause, okay,
Exactly.
Oh, for the
my-
first if you're doing the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
My first
Yeah.
trip, my first plane trip to New York, I had no clue what I was doing at all. I was all by myself. I basically did it through observation. I like stood in a corner by myself watching other people do it, and I was like, I'm gonna mimic that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's one. Okay, granted, my first rides on planes were with my parents, so I had someone directly to emulate. So in a way, it's a little different. When I
Okay,
first,
yeah. See, like,
Yeah.
I literally had no clue how airports worked. I didn't know anything about gates.
didn't
or,
you
like,
can't you just fill the signs though? I thought it's like it's on the ticket. When I went to
yeah,
myself,
put it to you this
know,
way.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, you can find it out that way. It's just I had no clue what a gate was. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. So it's like it says, okay, my plane is boarding at
All
gate B on like G12 or something. I was in
Right,
the Atlanta airport, which is I think one of the biggest airports in the U.S.
right.
And I had no clue what that was. So I was basically wandering around the airport. Thankfully, my ticket had like a bunch of time in between flights, so I was able to really explore and learn
Yeah.
the ropes pretty
Okay.
easily.
Right.
But the Atlanta airport is like split into like 4 different sections,
Ooh.
and you have to take like a subway in between each section of the airport to get to these certain gates. So it's like you've got the gates for your plane that are also situated in like building B or building E or something like that. So it's just
Right.
all this stuff that I had no clue what it was. So being my first time going to an airport, it was definitely really confusing. Also, the security check-in was also kind of confusing. I had never had to do any kind of like security check-in or anything like that. I had no clue what I was allowed to bring onto the airport and what I wasn't. So I had no clue what to take out of my bag or what to keep in my bag or what I should be taking out of my pockets and whatnot. So all this stuff is kind of hard to understand for someone who's
I guess
probably ridden
Fair.
a plane all
Yeah.
the time, but
Yeah.
I'm not ever doing it before.
Yeah.
Really, really new atmosphere.
It's a
Right.
new experience. And that's one of the reasons I really did want to go, because I wanted to get that all out of the way now. So that way, when I do it, hopefully later on in the year, I know what to do. I've already done it before. It's not as nerve-wracking, and I'm not going to have a friend to be there to show me the ropes. So I already know what to do, how to do it. It's easy peasy. But yeah, I get to the airport, and it's like you are. I don't know where anything is. I don't know where the gates are. I don't know what's what. Thankfully, Dracovod's flown before, so I know what to do because he's showing me. We go up through security, and right off the bat, everyone says, TSA agents say, empty your bags. Put your bag here, take off your shoes, empty your pockets, put it in the tray, because they give you these little trays. We do that. Shoes off, in the tray. Coat, jacket,
Right.
hat. So we go through security, we empty our things. That's all great. Even our belts, because, the metal belt buckle. Dracova normally goes through the scanner, the x-ray machine, right?
Right.
I didn't want to.
Why didn't you want to, LJ?
Because, personally, okay, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
you know how you go to the dentist and they're getting your teeth x-rayed and they put that lead
Right.
plate on your chest?
Yes.
Why the beans do they put the lead plate on your chest?
Because they're shooting a lot of X-rays at you in high quantity format to get the X-rays out of
See,
your teeth.
They're protecting you from radiation.
Right.
Yes. From what I understand, the machines, these huge hunkin' machines,
Right.
work very similarly. I did not want
They
to go
do.
through that and eat all that radiation because I'm actually very sensitive to radiation. Here's the thing. I feel
You're
radiation.
sensitive to radiation?
Yes. Whenever I
Are
go
I'm
you
sensitive to
Superman?
radiation.
What does that even mean?
Here's the thing. It's
Well,
like whenever I go
it
to the
means,
dentist.
Var, if he's next to a
whenever- hold
nuclear
the show.
explosion,
no,
he disintegrates
Whenever
a
I
little
go,
more quickly than anybody else.
Whenever I go to the dentist, they shoot the whole thing. My skin, it ripples, and it's really weird. And I know something's going on. I don't like it.
Eljay.
That doesn't mean you're sensitive to radiation.
It doesn't mean it's
All right,
sensitive
all right.
to radiation at all.
Okay, all right, fine.
And plus,
Maybe
plus the X-ray machines. The reason why they put the lead plate over you when you go to the dentist is because they're shooting a very high concentration of those X-rays because they're trying to get your teeth. They're trying to get very fine outlines of your teeth, which is a very small surface area. So they need a very fine detail of a very small area, and that's why they put it over so you won't get caught.
Yeah,
off
with a large amount of radiation,
All right.
which is very different than that giant machine getting an overlook
You walk through
of
and it's
what you
just
have.
detecting metal. That's
Okay.
all it wants to do is just make sure you don't have metal.
Yeah,
All right.
It's like literally just a metal detector.
I don't think it's just a metal detector because they have a metal detector. Whatever happened to those wands? You know, like the wands, they wand you.
They just weren't as effective.
They
You were-
still use that for me.
They
Yeah, see, they didn't use that
like,
for me,
Hide
but-
stuff more.
Yeah, we're not even done yet, okay? I don't.
Okay, all right,
bottom
all right.
line.
No. Okay, no, Eljay, tell them because you didn't want to because you're sensitive to radiation.
Yes.
What did you do instead?
What else do you do, Kahi? You opt out of the X-ray machine, okay? Listen, there were other reasons I didn't want to
They
go
just
through the
let
X.
you
There were-
walk all the way
Kahi,
through.
Okay. First of all, I just want everyone to know there are other reasons I didn't want to go through the X-ray machine. Kahi just really wants to paint me as a lunatic when he's the guy who wants to punch homeless people. Let's keep that in mind, everyone.
I'm not saying I might be
has
an
publicly
absolute lunatic,
said
but
on the
that doesn't mean
podcast
that you
he
are a
Get to the
lunatic.
point! Stop
okay.
talking!
Okay, so bottom line, you opt out of the X-ray machine, and you are subjected to the pat down. Now, Drakova is a great friend of mine. He normally just goes through the X-ray machine, and that's that. But for this, for moral support, he went through the pat down as well.
Moral
So-
support.
Wait. Wait a minute.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
your friend, Drakova, who usually has no issue going through the
Yep,
detector,
yep.
the machine, decided to go through the pat down with you.
Mm-hmm.
You because you decided to opt out of it, you dragged your friend down with you.
But Mark, he's
he
sensitive
chose
to
to do it.
radiation.
He chose
because
to
you're
do it.
sensitive to radiation.
That's what I thought at the time, but apparently that isn't the case. Okay? That isn't the case. I like I told you, there are other reasons. Okay? There are other reasons I didn't want to go through the machine. So anyway, we go through the pat down. Now, VAR, when you go through a pat down, what would you prefer to happen during that pat down? What would make you comfortable despite the fact...
What kind of question is that?
Okay, hang on. Let me explain.
If you were to go through a pat down, what would you prefer?
Here, let me explain.
Not going through a pat down.
Okay, here, listen.
Okay.
I'm
Are you
trying
as sensitive to someone
explain it
touching
here.
you as you are to radiation, LJ?
Are you sensitive to people just not wanting to go through X machines? Okay, VAR, let's say pat down is a very uncomfortable experience. What would make that less uncomfortable?
Oh, you're trying to get me to say if it was like a hot chick or something.
Not what I'm not trying to get you to say anything. I'm just trying to ask you what would make that.
I mean, yeah. So if you were getting a pat down, having it be performed by a very attractive lady would be the best way to have a pat down. Yes.
For you. Okay, great. See, I'm trying to say this
No,
as
yeah, only
non-offensively as
for
possible.
VAR and me. LJ has different preferences.
Oh, thanks, Kahi. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, it's just gonna be some young fellow or whatnot, just young TSA agent, just coming in here and be like,
wants it to be
okay,
a young
listen,
fellow.
part of the TSA, I'm gonna do this pat down. Some large 65-year-old burly bearded man comes over. It's like, okay, son, I'm gonna perform this pat down on you.
Again.
Did he look like a lumberjack?
He did. He looked like he was a retired lumberjack. He had this graying beard, and he's just this huge guy. He's like putting on this tight gloves. He's like, all right, son, I'm gonna perform this pat down on you. I'm gonna go through the steps. I'm going to explain what I'm going to be doing. I look over, same
Man,
exact
you got
thing.
felt up by Paul Bunyan.
Same exact thing is happening to Drakova. And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. we're going to do this. I'm going to go over the sensitive areas, is what they call them, with the back of my hand. Everything else is going to be with the palm of my hand. So he, goes over my arms.
Oh,
he goes over my chest.
God.
He goes over my legs. Okay. He takes care. Then he proceeds. He jostles you. It's just. He checks the rim of your pants, the rim of your shirt, and then it's done. It's over. Okay. But then that's just the physical portion. Then he swabs his gloves and puts it in a machine, and it tells you whether or not there's residue on it or not, like bomb residue or anything else.
Oh.
Well, thankfully I get past that. I'm good, no residue.
Thankfully, he didn't discover the bomb I was hiding.
So I get my stuff, I put my shoes on, Dracova's done, he's putting his shoes on, we get all of our stuff, and we get out of there. Now,
I can't believe you subjected your friend to this.
See, that's the thing. I didn't.
I'm going down, you're going down.
Wait. I didn't. He volunteered. I never asked him. I never made him feel guilty. And anything. He volunteered 100%.
Yeah, 'cause he's a good friend.
What now?
Right. Just because he's a good friend does not excuse you for being a terrible person.
No, sorry. I'm going to do that no matter what. What anyone else does, that's their deal. Fine. That's not the worst of it.
I don't know if that necessarily makes him a terrible person, Kyle.
Yeah, that's not even the worst of it, okay?
It's pretty terrible.
So we get through. Funny thing is, our gates are right next to each other. We're getting on two different planes, going two different directions. Well, not two different directions, two different places. We have coordinated gates. So we just sit and chat. He gets on his plane, and about hour and a half later, I get on mine. We take off. And now, there's something I am sensitive to, and it's altitude shifts. Like drastic altitude shifts. Oh. Windy road going up a mountain, I'm going to get car sick. So the plane going up as fast as it did, it gave me a headache like crazy. So.
Ugh, man.
Yeah.
You and Meso are pathetic.
Here's the thing, though.
Don't they both have analogies
cars
too?
don't bug me. I don't get car sick unless it's on a windy road gaining altitude. Like going up a mountain. Otherwise, I'm fine.
I don't know. You're both pathetic. Okay, fans, listen.
Here we go.
Eljay and Meso are a special kind of human. Think of like the whitest of the white, like the whitest person you could find, like straight out of Europe white. All right. Now subtract 40 pounds from it. Don't feed them for like 20 years.
Imagine natural selection took an off day when these two were born.
Okay, I'm not even done yet. Thanks for that, by the way.
No, hey, look, okay, I don't want to cut your story short, but it's 25 minutes and we've only talked about you traveling.
Okay, I'll speed run. So, get to my destination, be there a few days, have a great time. That's great. Last day I need to be there. It's Friday. We're running off to the airport. We're driving to the airport, trying to get there as quickly as possible. We get there on time, get up to check-in. They're like, if you were here 4 minutes late, you would have been blocked from getting on the plane. It's like, okay, great. Run, get my bags, go through security again. Now, I told Elena, hey, back at my airport, they felt me up and whatnot. And she's like, I'm going to get video of this.
Oh,
and then hang on. Wait,
this is the most PG-13 podcast.
Wait, never read this one. No. Oh, God.
I swear.
Wait, hang on. There's an explanation. She wanted video of it.
I think we're going to end it there, actually.
No. She wanted video and then block out my face and post it online for embarrassment purposes. That's it. Like, just to a group of friends. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm cutting that out. We're going to end on there.
No, you're not. So anyway, I go through TSA again. It's a different guy, a real talkative guy. He's like really chatty. Hey, where you been? Where you from? As he's, doing the pat down, the jostling. Get that out of the way. I get cleared.
So he basically got patted down by Neil Patrick Harris.
Anyway, I run off
First
trying
it
to
was
get...
Paul Bunyan, now it's Neil Patrick Harris.
I run off on my way to try and get to my gate. I go the wrong way. I run the other way, which is on the other side of the airport, and I miss my flight. So I went through the jostling for a second time for nothing. I missed my flight. I tell Lena, hey, I missed it. And she's still in the airport. So she picks me up and we go. I spend another day there, another night. We get up in the morning. I was able to reschedule the flight for free. Get up in the morning, go there, get jostled a third time. But I get on my plane and I get home.
My God.
Oh, dear Lord.
You
went through all that instead of just taking the freaking scanner thing.
I don't
Yeah,
know. This is what
did.
I said, fans. That's what I said.
But you know what?
LJ's kind of a loon.
You see, here's the thing. It makes for a funny story. And I like having stories that sound so ridiculous and terrible that they make people laugh because they think I'm an idiot.
Or because they think you're an idiot. Okay, not because you
No, fudge, Kahi, I swear. But, the second time I got the pat down, that delayed my flight. It was
started
because
to like it.
No! They put me on a silver chair between the two lines going through the scanner, and they just let me sit there for 10, 15...
I just can't imagine what the pat down people were thinking at the airport. It's like they're like, dude, this kid has gone through the pat down like 3 times already. He just keeps coming back.
It's like, hey, we can't actually we can't keep providing the service to you.
I think it's kind of a freak.
It's like we get on a first name basis.
Hey
Jay. Hey, Paul.
Where you going this time? Oh, I don't know where. I might miss my flight. Who knows?
I might even miss my flight if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
And with that, we're going to wrap up.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Man.
I'm sorry for taking so long. Bottom line, flying, if you're going through it for the first time, have a friend with you.
So he can suffer alongside you.
Moral of the story, bring a friend.
Hey, you met him before, right?
Man.
Yeah, I met him before.
Good grief.
So yeah, at Eljay's expense, we're now wrapping up TTV Talks. Thanks for joining us again. Feel free to submit your topics on the TTV Message Boards. We have a TTV Talks topic already set up, so you can just make a post there if you've got an idea for something you want to hear us talk about. Obviously, before there's a change of rotation every week, so we might not be back next week. Maybe we will. Who knows? But thanks for listening. I'm Vardaran.
I'm Eljay.
And I'm Kahi.
And we'll see you next time.
Don't touch me.